Hi, my name is Haejung Lee, and I'd like to talk about my research paper, Case Analysis of Industry-Specific Symmetric Volatility Evidence from Korea. First, my research question is, does bad news affect stock market index volatility than good news in Korean stock market? I thought if it rejects the hypothesis of bad news affects stock index volatility more than good news, it contradicts common sense. So before I move on to explain research specifically, let me clear what theoretical lenses is. GJR-Garch models gamma estimates asymmetric effects of bad news and good news. By the special characteristics of Korean stock market, it might be different from the theoretical anticipation of increasing volatility when there are bad news at past. Hypothesis is the more bad news at the past happens, the more increase in current volatilities will be. To explain this phenomenon empirically, I use GJR-Garch model. First one and second one is Garch model. Here, RT represents the index return series under investigation, and here epsilon t is normally distributed with a zero mean. Conditional variance HT is a function of the mean volatility level, the news from previous period, and the forecast variance from previous period. The sum of alpha and beta measures the persistence of volatility for a given shock, and most studies using high-frequency financial series data find this sum to be very close to 1, suggesting that shocks are highly persistent. And the third one and the fourth one can be deduced as GJR-Garch model. In each industry, bad news has different effects on stock volatility. This leads to the fact that different GJR-Garches gamma may well be obtained depending on the industry. A total of 23 industry-specific KOSPI indexes has been tested as bad news is influence on the volatility with GJR-Garch 1.1 model, and this paper states a hypothesis as H0 is equal to gamma 0. I want to explain the database from Data Guide, FN Guide, and as I mentioned earlier, this analysis tests the hypothesis that bad news can have a greater impact on current stock volatility than good news. For this purpose, this paper employed GJR-Garch model to estimate the extra impact of bad news like gamma. Using data of 23 industry sectors of KOSPI from 2013 to 2018, the results indicate that gamma is significantly different from zero in positive direction. This means the results of this analysis suggest that the current volatility decreases when bad news arrives at the past. The industrial sector's shape is like this. This is the R code for the research. So, using data of the 22 industrial sectors of the KOSPI from 2013 and 2018, we can find that current volatility decreases when bad news arrive at the past. So in conclusion, interestingly, this study represents a new possibility in a completely different direction from the previous analysis. That previous analysis insists the bad news increases volatility of stock markets. According to this study, based on the index of 2030 industry groups in Korean stock market over 5 years, the gamma value of the GJ-Garch model showed significantly negative values. In other words, when bad news occurs, the current volatility decreases rather than good news occurs, which represents, I'd like to represent this one as bad news low volatility puzzle. The results of the study, which indicated that bad news results in low volatility, can affect finance and economics in many ways. In finance and economics, especially in the theory based on the psychology, people are not necessarily rational and are more susceptible to the fear. Therefore, the series of theories suggests that increasing volatility when bad news makes the fear. However, this study presents the new possibilities. The results of this study may be due to the characteristics of the Korean stock market and may be due to the basis of the short-term sample. So otherwise, the results of this study may suggest more general results. However, due to the nature of the empirical studies, it is not known why this happens. So further empirical studies are needed to support or refute the results of this study. And theoretical studies explaining this should also be needed if further research support the results of the study. Thank you for listening.